All right. So, a very warm good morning or good afternoon, depending upon the time zone you are in. I am Kuldeep, Senior Strategist at Enalito, and I'm really glad to welcome our panelists today. We have three amazing leaders from the world of retail and e-commerce who are doing a phenomenal job in their individual vertical, and we are going to talk a lot about their brand stories and learn a lot from them. So, without further ado, let me make a formal introduction of our panelists today. First, we have on the panel is Latoya Stirrup. She's the co-founder at Cosmology. Latoya has over 16 years of experience in managing digital as well as traditional advertising campaign, and she has a superb understanding of project account management and a lot of digital technologies she has worked upon. And her current brand, Cosmology, is a company that she has started with her two sisters that celebrates beauty and create lifestyle amplifying accessories to empower women and allow them with love, care, and style. And their first product release is Curl Care Detanglers, which is a line of innovative patent pending hair tools for women with textured hair to properly manage their natural kinks, curls, and coils. It's a very interesting thing that we'll get to learn from Latoya. Latoya has done her Bachelor of Arts degree from Florida State University. Latoya, welcome to the panel. Glad to have you today.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Wonderful. Next, we have on the panel is Megan. Megan Fabulous. She's the founder of Megan Fabulous, and her venture was formed when well-known designer Megan Fabulous joined forces with Steve Dunlop, a successful CEO and entrepreneur and investor from the financial technology industry. And together they created this venture, and they have been doing a phenomenal work in the field of e-commerce. And uh, Megan has been doing great work, and she has been doing a lot of work with celebrities, including Shakira, Kim Kardashian, Sharon Stone, the Bella Twins, and among others. And her work has been featured in various publications such as LA Magazine, Vogue, InStyle, and Rolling Stone as well. Megan, glad to have you on the panel.
Thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful. Next, we have on the panel is Paul Brumble. Paul is the director at Sidonia's for Men. And Sidonia is a family run business established in 1978. And the specialty of their business is they curate the world for choice fabric. And behind the scenes, they work with their supplier, do with workshop to ensure the look and feel of each product is up to the highest standard. And they also do a lot of on-site tailoring with a lot of customization, with wardrobe consultation, and they're in a very unique position to kind of help the consumers in what they are looking for. So we'll learn a lot about Paul's venture going forward. Paul, glad to have you. Welcome to the panel.
Thank you for having us today. Thank you.
Wonderful. So I think the first question that I would like to begin with is purpose of your brand. If I may put it like, uh, for example, when Apple started, it had like 30, 40 years back, it has some purpose where it wanted to innovate, and that's how they started. And now after 40 years, they are a big brand. Similarly, any retail brand out there uh, has a purpose, and that's how they become big. So I would love to know your brand's purpose, if you can share some light on that. Let me go quickly to Megan to begin with.
Thank you. Well, my brand, I started it 19 years ago and with $25 in my pocket. And my mission has always been to make women feel beautiful, any size, shape, color, religion, it doesn't matter. Women want to feel beautiful when they walk out the door. They want to get compliments. They want to find something that fits their body.
Mhm.
And that's my mission in life. And, empowering women through fashion and making them feel the best self. You don't need to spend $1 million on your dress. you could spend, very little money and you can feel beautiful. And that's my mission in life, is to empower women through beautiful clothing.
Excellent. That's so nicely put. So empowering women through your clothing line. Excellent. And I think that's a very, very strong statement, I must say, because I think in a world that we are living in, a lot has the diversity that we see around. I think uh, the apparel industry is big, and I think there's a huge diversity that we see across brands, the different types of brands available, and most of the time it creates a different kind of divide. And I think apparel is something which allows you to kind of have that empowerment, offer that empowerment to a consumer. And I think that's a very good thought process that you have, Megan. Kudos to
Yeah.
that. Amazing. Let me quickly go to Latoya and hear her side of the story. What's your purpose?
Yeah, no. So my sisters and I started cosmology because we were trying to solve our own problem. We were tired of long wash days, excessive shedding while detangling, and just hair tools that did not seem to work on our hair. And so, like you said, with Apple, innovation is truly at the cornerstone of why we started the business, because we want to design hair tools that put curls first. Oftentimes, we use hair tools on our hair that were not specifically designed for us, so they don't work properly.
Yeah.
And that's what literally led to us designing patent pending hair tools. And so, with our Curls Plus Detanglers, there are our first 3 products on the market, but it's not the end. We are just beginning. And we're excited to just see what other ideas that we can bring to market that are creative solutions, because we want to turn everyday pain points into beautiful moments of self-care.
Excellent, I must say. And something that stems or kind of comes up from your own need or
Yeah.
from your own problem, it's very personal. And when you translate that problem into a solution, it becomes big. Excellent, I think. And the technology or the tool that you have built is going to do wonders, I must say, because I think it's well begun is half done, because you constantly can keep on reiterating and innovating your product. Excellent.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let me go to Paul and learn about his business as well, how he is kind of making a difference.
Well, the brand, I've inherited the brand. Sidonio was actually my father's first name, and the brand basically stole in our local community, always stood for quality and service. So that's the cornerstone of what everything we do is.
Yeah.
Within that brand, we have our own label called Christian Paul by Sidonios, which is named after my son. And it's really, the strategy there is maintaining the quality and maintaining the other aspect to it is, up until recently, it's been strictly a made in Canada product. So we try to support our own. Canada had a rich history in manufacturing many years ago, and it kind of fell by the wayside over the last 25, 30 years, and it's slowly building back. So we've been seeking out smaller to medium-sized companies that we can work with in manufacturing products like sports jackets, suits, ties, shirtings in particular. And then Italy is the second extension of that as well. And just trying to give it a Canadian feel over top of our kind of what we stand for in terms of quality and service.
Excellent. So quality and service, and taking the legacy forward and kind of giving the same experience to your consumers. Wonderful.
To try and reimagine, and also it says Sidonios for men. The other interesting part is we have ladies wear as well. So it's not going to be just for men. So I think we're growing it that way as well, bringing that same experience for the ladies as well.
Wonderful. That's amazing. So the first and foremost thing I think from what our panelists shared is, I think you need to have a strong purpose, and if you have a strong purpose, you can do anything, and it's step by step. I think growth can be achieved. Now, moving forward, the next question that is coming to my mind for all of you is around digital and e-commerce. I think though the offline world has taken a pause, I think the online world has grown phenomenally, exponentially. And I think that because of the digital world, things kept on moving and the world didn't stop. So, how was your experience in the last 1 year when things got very difficult, turbulent times? How did you manage? How did you make sure that your business has continues to grow, your business is constantly able to help and kind of move forward and engage with the consumers. Megan, if you could share some thoughts on that.
Sure. Yeah. Well, historically, my brand has always been to major retailers. So I always had a strong presence in major retailers, Nordstrom, Saks, Bloomingdale's, Harrods. And then once the pandemic happened, I did have an e-commerce presence, but it was never something that we really invested in, or we really tried to crack the code. And we look at a pie chart in our business, and our main goal is at some point for that whole pie chart to be direct to consumer. And it was a tiny little sliver. And when the pandemic happened, it forced us to really look at our business. And because, retailers just stopped, all orders were canceled, and we're sitting on all this merchandise that we didn't know what to do with. And it forced us to really become creative and figure out, now we were forced into the direct to consumer business and making it work and figuring it out and cracking the code. And surprisingly, we were able to grow this business 70% in 2020. And all by doing, using our creativity and using the tools that we already had, using our email list, figuring out how do you run ads, what's the algorithm on how to create an ad. And so that's what we were able to do. And also improving our customer experience, like Paul said. For me, a big thing of my business has always been when my customers open up a package, I want them to feel like it came from their grandmother. And it's like a party, like a lot of my customers say, it's a party in a box. And that's what I want them to feel. I want them to feel special. The dress is going to make them feel special. Everyone these days is used to a box being thrown over their fence from Amazon, and it's not special. Whereas when you order something from meganfabulous.com, it's a real experience and it's special. Things come with a handwritten note, and I do a gift with purchase, and it's a lot of color, and it's just exciting. So that whole experience has helped to propel my digital direct to consumer business.
Wow, that's a very great insight, Megan. I must say that you shared like how you kind of found a way through that big challenge and transition to D2C and able to grow the business, and at the same time able to pay attention to all these little details like packaging itself.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely scary, but that's sometimes when your feet are at the fire, that's when you really perform.
That's right, absolutely. And I mean, packaging itself, I mean, you can delight your customers, like they love it and they'll eagerly wait whenever they order next time that, oh, I'm going to get this from this brand in this packaging. And I think most of the time, I also notice consumers keeping the packaging, like preserving the packaging if they love it. And that's the best thing that as a brand stakeholder can do, is how they can delight consumers with all these little things, that handwritten note, paying great attention in packaging. Amazing. This is an excellent insight, I must say, for anyone who wants to, who is already in e-commerce or who is running e-commerce or want to enter into e-commerce, that pay attention to your brand's packaging. I think if that logo has to stood out, has to make a big difference. So excellent thought. Let me go to Paul also. And Paul, in your business, you also are very focused on quality and experience, because you are doing this consultation and making sure that the legacy that you have built over the years, how you can maintain that constantly. So how do you do or elevate your consumer experience? What are some of the new things that you're trying to do right now?
Well, just to backtrack, back to just over a year ago, we had what I would call a lookbook online, no e-commerce whatsoever. And out of necessity, tailored clothing is a very big element of our business.
Okay.
So nobody was wearing a suit; they were wearing pajamas. Sometimes they weren't even wearing pants on Zoom calls. Yeah. So let's face it, it's a pretty dry area. So we started, needling our way through, trying to work our way through the e-commerce experience as much as we could. We've digitized a few things. We try to keep the personal side to it. We have on our website, we have a chat option that does not go to bots. It does not go to an automatic person. It goes to myself or my business partner, who's my younger brother. So you're always getting a live person until 11 o'clock at night. If you have looking at our site and you're looking at something you're not sure, say, well, ask away. We had somebody yesterday is a perfect example. I'm getting married this Saturday. And you have to remember, up here in Ontario, we are still closed. There's no stores open. I'm getting married on Saturday and I need a pair of pants to match my jacket. And I'm a big boy. So he's a big size. And today is Thursday, you know. So my brother got on the chat, was chatting with him live. Let's do it. Don't worry, we'll get it done. As we speak right now, they're in an outdoor change room in front of our bricks and mortar shop getting a pair of pants.
Wow.
So that's a neat option that we kind of thought as we moved along, and I kind of fast forwarded there a little bit. As we moved along, we realized we still need to have our hands be accessible to the customer and have that kind of touch, they can reach out and touch us, for lack of a better word, phrase. So that was a way to add that we're there for you. And the service level is not some automated thing that's going to ask you a silly question or bug you, a little chat app on the corner of your screen. So that was something that we added, that we thought has had great value for our customers, and it's paid off for us as well.
Wonderful. That's a great insight, Paul, I must say, because I think by making that conversation humane and by making sure that the consumer I think his problem needs to get resolved, and I think if the problem gets resolved, you have won that customer for a lifetime. Next time when he wants to buy something, he's going to be your ambassador. So wow, great.
I think our brand also, a lot of our customers basically did not or do not or were intimidated by shopping online prior to the pandemic. I had one customer who's been a customer forever. I personally delivered some stuff to him. He said, well, no, I never buy online. And I reminded him, this is the third time you bought something from me now. So yes, you do. But I think we broke some of that. We were able to give him a lifeline to kind of gradually dip his foot into buying online. Because not everybody does. We have to remember that too. There's some sectors that still want that touch and feel. So we have to be cognizant of that when we're putting together, depending on what your brand and what your product is.
I think whether it is the offline world or online world, I think they're both complementary to each other, and both are there to kind of help the consumers. Ultimately, in the online world, yes, you can do things differently, but an offline world, you can kind of go that extra level where you can have a face-to-face conversation with the consumer. So I think this is also a great point, that how even in the online world, by having someone constantly talking with the consumers for whatever query they have, how that can make a big difference and take consumer experience to the next level. That's a great insight. Let me go to Latoya also and hear about how was the business for you in the last 1 year, and what are some of the new things you are doing in order to elevate the consumer experience?
Absolutely. So we actually launched on the market in 2019, and 2020 was supposed to be sort of like our big really blow it up year, right? 2019, we were trying to figure it out. We were learning e-commerce, figuring out retail, and then the pandemic hit. So we, of course, it sort of stopped some of our retail plans because we had to just shift into, but the good thing is that we were natively a D2C brand. So we were already in the mode. We were already set up on Shopify. We had Klaviyo, which we were using for our email marketing. We had online chat. So all of the things for an e-commerce brand were there. And we actually ended up selling out 5 times last year because of the demand for women who were at home sheltering in place. They couldn't go to the salons, they couldn't go to the beauty supply stores, and they were looking for solutions to help them with their in-home hair care, as well as for that of their kids or their husbands or their significant other. So we saw an immediate increase as soon as the pandemic shut everything down because of that. And a lot of women actually ended up going natural. That's what we call it. When you go from chemically straight hair to curly hair, it's going natural. And they did that because they could not get their relaxed hair. They couldn't get their hair relaxed anymore. So there was a lot that sort of happened out of the pandemic. So we were excited to be a brand that could help people during that time to really sort of shift and adjust to what became their new normal for a very long time. So So yeah, so in terms of other things that we've done, in terms of improvements, we've added sort of online consultations. So we'll often have customers who will reach out and sort of ask questions like, is this good for my hair? It doesn't seem to quite be working out. What kind of products can I use? Because we just do hair tools, we don't do products. So we'll actually have one-on-one calls. My sister is a licensed cosmetologist. So we'll reach out via email, we'll set the call up and kind of walk them through the process so they can understand how to properly detangle their hair.
Wonderful. So it's basically you're utilizing the e-commerce really, really well, and I think it's like a great opportunity that you had last year. And definitely, I think the world never knew that something like this can happen, and I think thankfully e-commerce has evolved that much that it allowed the businesses to constantly help the consumers ultimately. Amazing. Let me go to Megan again and ask her about Megan, you have been in the business for such a long time. What are some of the things that you have done to kind of scale up your business and make a mark for yourself, like to distinguish your brand vis-a-vis the competition? If you could share some light on that.
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I've watched this industry change in women's fashion for so long. Like, you know, we used to go to trade shows and we showed the buyers and there was a lot of buyer presentation. And then I've watched it over the last, especially the last 5 years, accelerate to, we don't need the stores anymore. I mean, yes, there is this touch feel element, but there comes a point in e-commerce when you have to scale. And I was running into those problems too, where my business partner and I were sitting on the weekends chatting with customers, and now we've had to actually hire people to do that for us because, you know, there's only so much of me, and in order to scale the business, we've had to, you know, let loose a little bit of the control. But when we did hire people, they had the brand voice. They were able to communicate properly with our customers. So, you know, bringing in customer service and realizing that there's only one of me, and in order for my business to scale and to grow, it's going to take more of me, but, you know, little Megan's going out there. So finding people that also can have the same voice as I have. Also, one thing about scaling in this business is, you know, my business used to do a small volume here and there, a couple sales a day. And then there was this click when everything just fit together, utilizing our email campaigns and then running ads, and then also having this flow of, you know, the brand voice is all cohesive. There was a click and all of a sudden we were selling out. And we realized that if we want to keep on progressing, you have to have inventory. You have to be prepared to scale. And that's the one thing I think a lot of people that are becoming or trying to grow an e-commerce business is they don't have the inventory to support that growth. And, you know, focusing on one product and pushing that product, you know, email campaigns run alongside with digital market agencies, plus social media, and utilizing those channels. Even if you're not running ads, that's okay. You can still utilize the tools and that are in place with you. Like I was saying about my packaging. So I always put these cards in every order, and they're postcards. So then my customers, they'll Instagram about the package and look how great this is, but then they have these postcards in there that they're going to go and send those to their friends. And so these people are organically spreading the message about the brand. And that's something that can also help you scale, is these little tiny details. You know, this postcard costs us 5 cents to produce them, but then they're spreading the word about the brand. And I think being prepared to scale is one thing that's really important when you're building an e-commerce site. And then also, you know, finding these creative ways to spread the message about the brand that costs little to no money. You know, you don't need to be running Facebook ads, is, you know, finding these creative things that you can do internally to help other people be, you know, PR and press for your brand.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a great thing that you're doing. So you're again paying little attention to details, I must say. And I think how you have actually shared a very creative way of how to have an organic growth and how your consumers can be your ambassadors and sharing the message forward, and how it can make a big difference. And the one point that you also shared is about being ready. You never know when the demand will kick in. So because I think all the
Oh, sorry. That opportunity is going to come and go. And if you're not there on the train ready to go, it's going to leave and someone else is going to hop on that opportunity.
Absolutely,
And it's
absolutely.
scary. I mean,
Yeah.
like sitting on all this inventory, you're like, God, I hope that someone's going to buy it. But if you don't take those risks, then it's not going to happen.
Yes, very true, very true. Be prepared all the time. Doesn't matter, because I think a lot of businesses has to face this problem during the pandemic, that they were getting orders, but they were not having inventory, and it was a demand supply problem. But yeah, very tricky. But I think Megan managed it really well. So that's a great insight again that Megan had just touched upon, and I think for any business, being prepared, because you never know when the demand will come in. So because I think all the effort that goes into organic or inorganic marketing is ultimately to drive people to your site. And maybe if you are just getting 100 people, there will be a day where thousands of people will just keep on coming. So you should be prepared for that. Let me go to Paul as well. And Paul, how did you managed or how are you managing your brand's communication across different channels? Like, what are your marketing strategies for your brand growth?
Our marketing strategies involve a lot of email we use like a Klaviyo platform for our email marketing to um, our customers have purchased, people sign up for our newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
Social media is important as well. All those different channels. We're involved in that as well. One-to-one marketing with some of our clients, kind of just poke them. Hi, we're not overly aggressive that, but hey, we haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
Here's some new items, but that's becoming a more, to Megan's point about resources get run a little thin. That's becoming more and more automated for us.
Mm-hmm.
Social media has become more automated. The emails are becoming, you plan them, set them up, and forget about it, and they run themselves.
Yeah.
So those will be the key areas. We do feature our. We have a publication in Ontario that we feature some of our clients in. We focus on our clients. We use them in our ads, kind of endorsements. That's another little different way we do it. Things like Megan touched on too, packaging. We put little treats in with the orders, little candies and things like that as well. I would say those are the major, kind of marketing day-to-day stuff that we do.
Okay, wonderful. So you're leveraging the email channel and the social media channel and paying attention to packaging.
Those are the key. Those are the most important ones. And then you kind of, to Megan's point, as you start scaling up, it gets harder to do the one-to-ones, but you still try and get, try and do a little bit of more one-to-one as well. But the majority of it is coming from, you get your people in there, get them in your system, and start working the system. That's the best way to do it.
Interesting. I think all those things. I think all the social media channels are equally important and have their own significance. And you can pick up something and then just focus on it and make sure that your brand messaging is happening constantly and you are able to communicate and engage with your consumers all the time. So good. That's a good strategy to have. How about you, Latoya? Which channels do you use for your consumer engagement, and which has worked really well for you?
Yeah, no, our main one that we focus on is Instagram, and that's because that's where a lot of photos are shared. You see a lot of tutorials, IG Live and IGTV. We are on all of the platforms, but again, we're still a new company. So we're building, we're growing, and we're scaling. So that's where we've sort of focused on has been Instagram. But we are doing YouTube tutorials. We leverage micro influencers. We see a lot of great success working with micro influencers. So we have an affiliate program management tool that we use that is a plugin to Shopify, which makes it really easy to track their promo codes, their discounts, and we can do the payouts really simply. Email marketing, again, is what we leverage as well. And then we do engage with virtual events. So they're still having, even though they're no longer sort of like trade shows and hair expos, a lot of those events went online and went virtual. So we use those as opportunities to connect with customers and really just kind of continue to have that forward-facing opportunity.
That's great. So Instagram and micro influencers and email marketing. So that's great. So you found a kind of a niche for yourself and you are leveraging on that. That's amazing. Now, I think we should talk about a little bit about when you how to grow your brand, how to scale up your brand. Like, what is the vision that you have for your brand for the next 5 years? Where do you want to see your brand in the next 5 years? I know this is a very, very hypothetical, I can say, or a little bit tricky question, but I just wanted to know your thoughts on that. How you think about your brand in the next 5 years? What's your vision, Megan?
Yeah, I mean, to add this, just real quick to add on to what Lotoya was saying, Instagram is an amazing tool. It's free. If
Yeah.
there's one tool I agree that I think that you can really utilize as a small business that's wanting to grow, where you can touch millions of people for free, is Instagram. So I just wanted to add on to that. So as
Excellent.
far as scaling, for us as a brand, it's really growing and cultivating our customer, and then also going and finding new customers. So right now we just secured a licensing deal with the Grateful Dead, and I'm making a collection for the Grateful Dead, which is very much in line with who my customer is. I'm also now doing a collaboration with a celebrity to create a new brand with her. And just right now finding other customers and pairing and partnering myself with other types of customers that wouldn't necessarily come and find me. My brand is loud, it's colorful, it's fun, it's vibrant, and going and finding new markets and different types of people that necessarily wouldn't have found me unless, you know, they follow a certain type of music or they watch a celebrity on television. So just partnering myself with other channels, musicians, celebrities, and then utilizing their platform to help grow my business.
Wonderful. So a lot of strategic partnerships and collaborations in order to
Right.
scale to new heights, and how you can, yeah, so that's a great strategy, I can say, in order to scale up, and ultimately, because it's going to have your brand getting featured in and getting that PR, that marketing, and that scale that probably is not possible. So that's a
Right.
great
Yeah, and then
vision.
one more thing, and then we're not quite ready to go to menswear, but then finding other avenues within the women's sector. So making really amazing swimsuits, expanding on our accessory business. So still, I have the attention of these women. What else are they going to buy other than dresses? I think is really important, is utilizing the customer base that you already have, and then introducing new products to them.
Okay, so it's like adding breadth to your product category and expanding the
Right.
product catalog. That's great. That's a great
Right.
point, and absolutely, because that's going to definitely add some additional revenue for the business. Because I think once the consumers love a brand, they definitely want to try out the different products. Amazing. Let me go to Latoya and ask her uh, about her vision. What's not, you started in 2019. You are very early stage, but still, next 5 years are important. So how are you thinking in that direction?
Yeah, no, we're in growth and scale mode right now. We're already in talks with major retailers. So we're sold currently on HSN and in Urban Outfitters. So retail is a huge part of our focus because we want to be omni-channel. D2C has its place, but like Paul said, retail still has its place. People still like to go into the stores, see products, touch, feel. So there's still an opportunity for that. And we know that a lot of the sort of bigger retailers that focus on beauty and hair care, they're also revving up their D2C. So they are going after the Amazon shopping behavior and wanting to get into those spaces. And people use those platforms to do a lot of research, product comparisons, et cetera. So we need to make sure that we're in those spaces. So of course, retail expansion, we're working on product expansion right now. This year, we're rolling out 6 new SKUs. So that will continue to innovate on our side in terms of R&D. And then global presence. Right now, we are working on expanding into the UK. We're currently working on South America and Central America, and then also, of course, Africa and then Canada too. So we're working on a lot of different expansions. So 5 years will look very different than it does right now.
Well, more power to you. That's a great strategy to have. It's like expanding your geographies and like taking your product to new markets and kind of acquiring those new customers. And that's a great strategy, I must say. Because I think with the way things are, global commerce because logistics has become so easy these days. It's very easy to ship with all the support that's available, with all plug and play softwares available. So wow, great things can happen, and more power to you. Excellent. How about you, Paul? How's your vision? You already have another brand in place, so you're running 2 brands. What are your thoughts?
Yes. Yes. Well, I think it's probably taking the two brands, bringing it back into one. It's as
Hmm.
funny as that might sound. I think these ladies took my notes because the same words apply: collaboration
Yeah.
with our suppliers. Being the end retailer, we're
Hmm.
seeking out partnerships. Really, they're partnerships now. I'm
Yeah.
assuming the product is good. I'm assuming the product is going to get here on time. Like you said, the logistics, but we need true partnerships to leverage those brands with ours as well.
Yeah.
So I think collaboration is a big and important part with whoever we partner with going forward. I think we
Hmm.
want the brand to stand for more. It's more of a lifestyle. So
Hmm.
we've been known for certain products for years. Let's bring it out a little further into things for men. It's a different world. Men are a little more worried about grooming and things, a little more consider those things more than they say they did 25 years ago. You used
Hmm.
to be able to put khaki pants, gray pants, and a couple blue jackets in your store, and you were laughing. But now there's color, there's excitement in menswear. We
Yeah.
also do ladies wear, so that's another area that we'd like to grow the business so that instead of Sidonians for Men, it'll probably just be
Yeah.
Sidonios.com and move it. We are selling across the country of Canada. We're a
Hmm.
Canadian company. I think that's where our focus will remain for the next few years, is
Hmm.
to domestically become stronger out of our province as well as in our province. There's still
Hmm.
room. Uh, Menswear is behind ladies wear in a lot of ways up here in terms of at the retail level for e-commerce. So I think there's a lot of room
Hmm.
to nurture what there is now and keep kind of grinding away at it and keep adding a little bit of grow the product line a little bit to bring it out. But then that comes back to what we just said, partnering with the right companies
Hmm.
that'll get us there quicker, faster, and more effectively.
Great. So very unique strategy, I must say. And yeah, I think if you know your target audience, if you know your like geography really well, I think, yeah, if you are able to uh, create a very, very strong presence, I think ultimately it will have a ripple effect and you can
Well, I
amplify
think
your
it's
brand's
easy.
voice. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I find it's easy to forget about your own backyard, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that's where we got to start.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still at that on the e-commerce side. Absolutely, we're still at that stage.
Uh-huh.
So I think you gotta keep working that point and maybe offer. Like I said, we got to expand our offering to other product lines. Like I said before, we had two distinct bricks and mortar stores that
Mm-hmm.
before the pandemic, ironically, we merged into one
Uh-huh.
we bought a bill. It just made sense. It just
Mm-hmm.
we shared so many customers in the two brands. So we're literally going from two brands to one.
Mm.
And we've kind of gently made that step. And I think going forward, just make it simplify the branding and then just keep going.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think that's a unique strategy, and I think if you constantly keep on capitalizing on the potential of the brand, and ultimately if the consumers love it, it's great things can happen. Great. Uh, Now my next question that is coming for all of you is around consumer behavior. I think the times that we are living in is so turbulent. It's basically, let's say someone has opened your site and they get a phone call or they get an SMS, and it's so easy to get distracted and close the tab and then go ahead. That's where basically you lost that consumer, right? But let's say someone who is already on the site, a visitor, uh, how do you convert your visitors into your customers? I mean, out of the 100 people visiting your site, uh, what are some of the things that you are doing or you're thinking of doing in order to maximize your conversion rate? Let's say if you look at your Google Analytics and you see that your current conversion rate is just 1% or less than that, how are you trying to improve that? Or you have already done something which has shown you improvements? Uh, I would like to know that because this is the most important question in e-commerce, because when a consumer comes on your site, you don't know who he is unless and until he's chatting with you, unless and until he's leaving his email address. He's just a visitor and you don't know his name, you don't know his email address, so you can't send him an email. So unless and until that visitor becomes that subscriber or first time buyer, you cannot call that as your customer. He's still just a random visitor. extremely important thing in e-commerce. So what are your thoughts on that? I would love to know that, because we have been doing a lot of research and noticed that a lot of brands are losing out on those conversion opportunities because of the visitors not becoming first-time buyers, and a lot of marketing effort that goes into driving traffic goes for waste. So how do you plan to convert your visitors into your first-time buyers? Megan?
Well, my brand is, like I was saying earlier, is really all about how does this make you feel? And I really truly believe, the end goal is for them to receive the package and to open it up and it makes you feel amazing. But once you land on my site, I want you to feel, wow, what is this? What is this great, beautiful, colorful world that I've just entered into? And so for me, it's continuing and having a cohesiveness throughout everything, like the ads that put in front of their face. It makes them feel great. The photos are vibrant. They're different. I think that's the one thing about a lot of e-commerce sites these days. You see one thing, you want to start it, and you always copy what someone else is doing. If you're different and you have something that is bright and bold and you put it in front of their face, they'll be like, wow, what is this? And it makes them curious. And then again, with that cohesive feeling, if someone clicks on a product and then they're going to get an ad that pops up on Google or Facebook, it's that product again, and they're seeing it. And there's that colorful, vibrant photo that makes them feel amazing. And wow, I wonder if that's going to make me feel when I wear it, or, when I open up the package. And so keeping that cohesive feeling of excitement and different, and the emotion, and really honing in on that and continuing that feeling throughout every single messaging and ad, or even the Instagram posts, that those photos and that video or the product is going to make them feel something, and then that's going to continue on. They're going to want that feeling again. I get a lot of emails from customers that like, wow, this is my favorite dress because it made me feel special. It made me feel like I was the most beautiful girl in the room, and I got so many compliments. Like, that's the one thing I love to hear, because that means if they got compliments, they're going to want to wear it again, and they're going to want, okay, what else do they have in a different color in that same cut? And just really expanding on the emotion of what their experience is going to be within your brand.
Excellent. So maintaining that uniformity, cohesiveness, and maintaining that element of curiosity when they come on your site. Excellent point. Amazing, Megan. How about you, Latoya? How do you convert your visitors into buyers?
Yeah, no, so we actually have a very structured marketing plan. So with our social media campaigns, we have a 3-tiered sort of messaging funnel that brings people from the bottom of the funnel, which are very cold, to the top of the funnel, which makes it, they're hotter. So once they kind of go through that journey and then they finally come to the website, one of the easiest things that we have is that at the top of our website, we have a invitation to join our newsletter, and you'll instantly receive 10% off. That discount not only gives us their data, but it also turns them into a purchaser. So it's simple. You just have it at the top of your website, and it really does work really well for us. And then outside of that, it's about making sure that we're communicating to that user consumer reviews, letting them know exactly how our products work, having content there that helps to reinforce and assure them that this hair tool is for them. So we've definitely done some different things to make sure that once they land there, they have the right information, product imagery, content to help to reinforce, to move through the purchasing funnel.
Excellent. I must say, so you're taking all those steps in order to make sure that you have that engagement, and right when someone has came through that funnel, you are able to have a conversion and a dialogue, basically. Yeah, that's a great thing. Amazing. How about you, Paul? Now that you are focusing on e-commerce also, how do you plan to convert more of your visitors into buyers?
A lot of what Latoya said, attractive product shots, details. We try and emphasize at our price point, sometimes there's a little bit of a risk or a perceived risk of purchasing. So, we try and make sure our return policy is there. Don't worry. Trying to assure the customer, you have 30, just try it. Don't worry, try it. We will be here for you. The email marketing as well. at the top of the screen, signing up with a discount code. That's huge. Our chat option allows people to ask the questions if they're not sure. They feel like we're right there. And then we have a cart recovery. Sometimes they get to that stage where they do get distracted and the phone rings or the dog needs to go for a walk or something. So there's about 24 hours later, it's all automated. They go, hey, remember these things are in here. Would you like, do you want a second crack at it? Do you want to, sometimes you offer a discount with it. We try that in short periods of time, see if that helps the conversion rate. So all those things together, I think if you put together an attractive site, and back it up with some of these other automated items, it can help increase it seems to be working. Yeah.
Okay, so great. So so you're doing all of that and to make sure that you're able to have that conversion going. Excellent pointers, amazing. Now that we are talking about consumer behavior, which is rapidly changing, consumers can open up your site on a desktop, on a mobile, on an iPad. Maybe they might be browsing your site on a mobile device, and then when they actually want to make a purchase, they go to their desktop and make the purchase, or vice versa. It can happen both ways. And we are living in a mobile first world. So how do you plan to make sure that your mobile experience is also great, where your website works smoothly? Or have you noticed like how is it different? Basically, if I have to put it this way, have you got any analysis done between how many consumers come through mobile versus how many consumers come to your site through desktop? Because this is extremely important. Then accordingly, if more people are coming through mobile, you can focus your attention on mobile also. So if you have a mobile site, how you can plan to go into native mobile application as well, maybe. So just wanted to take your thought on that. Have you guys given some analysis? Have you done some analysis? Megan?
Oh yeah, 100%. So we know, our company knows that 70% of the people that visit my website come from the mobile. 20% come from desktop, and 10% come from an iPad. And so we've actually tailored our experience to reflect that data. It's so much easier nowadays to buy something on your phone, whether it be through Instagram checkout. You can click on Facebook and buy something direct. So we've really tailored our website and our experience to accommodate for people that are just going to buy something on their phone. To add on to the email marketing and having a coupon code, we took it a step further. And now, if you log onto onto your mobile, sign up. You just want to sign up to our email list, you'll get 10% off. But if you sign up to get a text message from us, you're going to get 20% off. And you can use their data, and you can now not only send email campaigns, but you can also send SMS text messages once a week. And then they can click that product right away, right from their phone, and they're getting 20% off instead of 10% off. We have seen the conversion rate from text messaging. It's insane. And this is the future. People are now buying things from text messages.
Wonderful.
Off their phone.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a great insight.
And when we've developed the website, the more simple, the better. Yeah, the photography can be amazing and the colors and the wording can be great. But if you keep it simple and keep it stupid, people relate to that. They don't want all this complexity and hard checkout experience. You just hit add to cart, checkout, and the conversion rate is insane.
Excellent, I must say. I mean, that's a great insight again, how a little tweak there can make a big difference and you still are able to have a great engagement with the consumer. How about you, Latoya? How is your analysis in terms of desktop, mobile traffic, or iPad traffic? And how are you managing it well?
No, definitely mobile heavy. And to Megan's point, absolutely. And the good thing is that when you're set up on a website like Shopify or some other platform, it's easy to have those things plugged in. So a lot of the sort of hard, because I come from digital advertising, right? So we used to build these systems from scratch, like developing a CMS and building websites from Flash. So I come from that world. So a lot of just the functionality that is necessary to have a good website. The good thing is that you can do it now and it's so turnkey. So having SMS integrated into your website is easier. to do it now because you don't have to have a developer to do it, which is great. So we do the same. And the thing is too with Shopify is that you have a mobile and a desktop option that often comes along with your template. So you can customize it if you want to do certain things that are maybe more mobile friendly, you definitely can. That requires a little bit more customization. But even when you think about Klaviyo and your email marketing, you can create a mobile version that's different from your desktop version, and then also build out what your SMS looks like, adding graphics to that if you want to, or just keeping it text. So you definitely have to sort of think about those different touch points and the experience that you want your customer to have. And definitely you want to keep it nice, clean, make sure that your UI, which is your user interface, is easy to understand, to flow through. So yeah, no, we're doing all of that. And it's great to be able to be on a platform that makes it easy to where you can make those adjustments on your own. And you don't necessarily always have to, especially when you're starting out, right? You may not be able to afford or hire someone to be your web manager. So these platforms make it easier for you to really dig in, get it done, get it up, and then start to run your business. And as you scale, bring people on to help manage it.
Excellent, excellent. So you're taking it, you are handling it really well and using all the tools that are available in order to have the engagement going. Amazing. So yeah, again, a mobile traffic more. How about you, Paul? How have you observed it? Mobile traffic and versus desktop traffic?
Yeah, there's no doubt. The analytics over the last year is just the mobile's taking over. I look at the traffic, but then I look at the purchases and where the purchases are coming from. And that pendulum is swinging definitely as well. It's definitely more to the mobile. I'm always on my web developer guy. I'm like, let's go. We got to keep the mobile. It's got to be fresh. It's got to be easy. And I could repeat what the ladies have said, but I think that's where the future is, no doubt. And I think texting is absolutely, people have no attention span. It's got to be in front of their face, simple and easy. And that's the beginning and the end of it.
Wonderful, great. So I think we talked about consumer experience and making sure that to be ready and utilizing all the tools really well, about the vision. Now let me talk. I would like to talk about a little bit about consumer behavior, which is kind of a very tricky thing. It's so dynamic. Maybe someone who bought from you first time and you have delighted him with all the effort that you have put in, but there can be a place where definitely he won't be buying from you second time, or he won't be coming back to your brand either because he found a different store. So in a world that we are living in, retention is a very big challenge. So from all the existing customers that you have, what are your observation in terms of churn? Like how many, what is your retention rate, if I may say so? Because that is an extremely important indicator for the growth of a business, that how many the customers that you have already acquired, how many of them you are able to retain successfully over the years. So if you would like to share something, your thoughts on that, like retention rate, how is it good, is it bad, or is it neutral? How, Megan?
Yeah, I mean, our retention rate is pretty strong. And that's all goes back to the experience. And I think that's how, there's no use for me to tell you the numbers and whatnot, but it all goes back to having this amazing experience where they want to get it again. Like I keep on saying, it's like a drug. They just want to keep on having that. What does that dress make you feel? How did you receive that package? And then that will get you an amazing retention rate.
So it's okay. So you're doing good. Great. How about you, Latoya? Any observations in terms of retention rate?
Yeah, no, we actually, our business model right now is a little unique because our hair tools are quality made. So they're not hair tools that break easily that you want to constantly replace. Okay, so what we actually see from a repeat purchasing behavior is people buying them as gifts for other people. Like, here, I love it. Let me share it with you because I think this will help you in your hair journey. So we see a lot more of that. But what we're working on right now is actually developing products to bring our customers who love our hair tools back into the fold. And we know that they're still there because our email marketing is showing us that we have really great opening rates. They're reading our content in our blog. We're pushing out value added information to really kind of keep them engaged with us. Because we knew that, for the beginning, we would focus on our 3 hair tools. So one, get them out, get them into the marketplace, really start to hear what people were saying before we started to work on new innovation. Because again, we're not creating consumable products where it's like hair shampoos and conditioners that are cheaper to make. We're creating things that need molds. So our sort of innovation is a little bit more expensive up front. So we had to sort of give ourselves space to really kind of scale the business. And now we're at the point to where we can add on to our product line. So ours is a little bit different, but we know that we still have a lot of loyal customers and they come back and they are asking us to create new stuff for them because they love what we did the first time.
That's very good. So as you mentioned, it's amazing to know that people are okay. They bought for themselves first, and now they're buying to kind of gift it. That's a great thing for a brand. I mean, because this is an indicator of how much they have loved it, and they're buying it to gift it to someone they love. So that's an excellent pointer. Amazing.
Yeah, and we see it too in our loyalty program because we do have like loyalty points as well. So we know that we get the notifications when someone sort of hit a milestone, and that they're doing that because they're repeat buyers. So that's exciting to see.
Excellent, amazing. How about you, Paul? How is like retention rate and?
Well, we've the tale of 2 stores, right? We have the bricks and mortar. We have much more data, 43 years of history on it. Our retention rate was very high. A lot of our repeat customers. We got 4 generations, 5 generations shopping with us at the bricks and mortar in that. So that's an easy one to kind of quantify. In terms of, like I said, we're relatively new to e-commerce. It's nice to see through our email marketing. We see our click-through rates. We see when we send out stuff to our customers, you just see the spike on the traffic, see the spike in the sales, and you are seeing repeat purchasing happening, which is good. Yeah, it's coming. Things we did offer. It's a tricky one right now. Is we had Aeroplan points, which was for the major airline carriers in Canada. That was another loyalty program that was very strong. And we're waiting for the dust to settle a bit here now so people can fly somewhere. Yeah. And then I think we will probably add that to the e-commerce site as well. And that's a very strong, in Canada, it's a very strong loyalty program that we're kind of one of the only menswear across the country that uses that system. And that's a very good one in store. So it'd be interesting to see how we integrate that online. That's going to happen before the fall.
Wonderful. So you are thinking and doing stuff, and amazing. Good to know that you guys are kind of focusing a lot of attention on all aspects related to consumer engagement, to keep the retention going, to keep the brand moving in the right direction. Amazing. Now that we are coming to an end of this panel discussion, my last question for all of you, and we ask this question to each business owner, entrepreneur. What is that one piece of advice that you would like to give to someone who would like to start an e-commerce business, or someone who already is in the e-commerce business, from your own learning experiences, something that has worked really for you? I know you have already touched upon a lot of different things that you're doing, but what is that one unique advice that you would like to share with your loved one, maybe, if I have to put it that way, that they want to start a business and you want to give them one advice? What would that be? Megan?
It's so obvious, but I have to say it because, it's not going to happen overnight. I've had my e-commerce site since 2007, before anyone really had an e-commerce fashion site. And it took me a really long time to figure out, and we're still learning. Yeah. And you have to make mistakes. You have to try new things. I mean, my website has been built 15 different times. I built it on so many different platforms. And then finally it was like, okay, let's just do it on Shopify. It's so easy. You know, you don't need to have a developer. I mean, how much money I wasted. I might as well just lit it on fire. And, but you have you make mistakes and don't be afraid to try. I mean, like, there's always tomorrow. You can always, try something new, but I feel like that's the one thing. It's like, a lot of entrepreneurs or people that are trying to start something, it's like, okay, that didn't work, I'm going to give up. you can't have that attitude. Okay, so what? That post didn't have so much engagement. Big deal. You can always do another one. You can always try something else. You know, don't be afraid to keep on trying new things, and just don't quit, because it's not going to happen overnight at all, you know, and if it does, it's not going to last. So that's my one piece of advice, is it's just keep on trying new things, and just don't give up.
Excellent advice, Megan. Amazing. So what Megan has mentioned is be patient. It's a marathon that we are running and not a sprint. And I think you all, it's a journey, and running an e-commerce business is a long journey. So you have to keep on moving and making mistakes and learning and improvising, and making sure that you need to know your goal and vision, and then keep moving in that direction. Excellent advice, Megan. Latoya, how about you? What you would like to share to your loved one who want to start an e-commerce business?
Definitely want to kind of double down on the idea of having a strong why and reason for your business, because it will get hard. You will have those days that kind of maybe knocks you off your feet a little bit. But if you have something that is greater than yourself that you're working for, or you're working towards, then that will kind of remind you why you're doing this, why you're going through this. And you have to be open to the journey, knowing that no, it's not going to happen quick. It may not be easy all the time, but there's a reason why you're doing it. So you really have to have that in mind. Post it up if you need to. Put it on your phone as your image, on your home screen, wherever it is. You really have to insulate yourself with it, because it gets hard. It really does get hard sometimes. And depending on your support system, if you don't have a good, strong support system, you have to support yourself to make sure that you're able to keep moving forward. Self-care. And I just want to end with that part of self-care. As an entrepreneur, self-care is everything. Get a massage, have a therapist, just really take care of yourself.
Excellent advice. So have a very, very strong why, and why you want to start the business, and making sure that you keep on reminding yourself about that and taking care of yourself as an entrepreneur to grow. Excellent advice. Paul, from your experiences, what is that one advice that you would like to give to your loved one?
Well, I think you have to have conviction in believing in whatever your product or service is. I think you have to understand that you're never really done.
Yes.
And I as myself by nature, I'm a perfectionist, but you can't wait till it's perfected. You have to just keep going. There are mistakes that are made along the way, and believe me, I made a few good ones. You got to keep trudging. If you think you're about 80% the way there, just go with it, and you'll pick up the other 20% as you go along. And you're going to be completely wrong sometimes, and you're going to hit the mark sometimes. But you have to have that underlying driving purpose for your business, and you have to be willing to make mistakes. And it's on the web, you could say it's a little bit of a glow. You know, people anywhere can look at your mistakes, so you're out there a little bit. But if you don't try, you're not going to get anywhere.
Excellent advice. So don't be afraid to make the mistakes, and constantly improvise, and be flexible, agile, and adapt to the change, and stay focused on your goals, and know where the world is heading in the world of retail and e-commerce, and utilize all the tech and tools. And that's the best thing that one can do. So with this, I must say, this is an excellent panel discussion we had. I think we have three amazing leaders who kind of shared their journeys and their thoughts and vision, and how they are making a difference and making a mark, and how they want to take their brand to the next level. And I think all the insights that Megan, Latoya, and Paul have shared are really, really insightful, because it came from their own experiences. And I think if someone is able to even apply 5 or 10% of what they are doing, I think any business can grow to greater heights. So with this, I would love to say thank you to Megan, Latoya, and Paul, on behalf of my team at Enalito, for taking out time today in joining this panel. We would love to host you guys again on some other topic in our future summits as well, and would love to learn a lot from your venture, and what new things you're doing. So I'll be in touch, and we'll love to talk to you again. Thank you so much, Megan. Thank you. Thank you, Latoya. Thank you, Paul. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.